All right, my love. Oh my gosh, you guys. If you're listening to this, you are in for a treat because I am sitting down with one of my most favorite people in the world. Somebody that is very dear to me, that has guided me through many seasons of my life. And
Mm.
was my birthday gift to myself this year was a session with you. And obviously it's Helen Jacobs, duh, because you've hopefully read the title
Spoiler
of
alert.
this podcast episode rather. And I'm just really stoked to be sitting down and having this conversation with you because I know we both sort of had, in mind what we wanted to talk about. And then life happens and life starts lifing and the world is doing what it's doing. And
Mm,
you said one word to me about what you want to talk about today, and I was like, this has to be it, and that is fear. And
mm.
I know that I have felt fear and anxiety and stress in bucket loads this year. And and I'm sure you have, and all your clients have, and all the people in your community. And let's just go there.
Let's. But please don't be scared of the
No,
topic. I hope you're
please don't
still
be scared of
listening.
fear. We're
It's a
gonna,
good thing.
yeah, we're gonna alchemize the shit out of fear today.
Yes, please. Let's do that.
Yes.
Because I do think that fear, it feels awful, but it can be powerful if directed in the right way. And that's a pretty big fuel to have.
Oh my God, I was literally about to say fear can be fuel.
Okay, well there you go. We're just going to do our in sync thing. And look, I think it is a really big conversation. Yes, I have felt it on and off, particularly this year. It is one of the biggest questions that I'm getting in my community. You only have to look outside your window or open a social media app and go, what the hell is going on? And it's all driven towards fear. It is pure fear mongering. And I also say that as someone who used to work in PR and marketing, I was trained to find the hook that would sell.
The pain point.
Yeah. Unfortunately, there's a bin man going past. So apologies if that gets picked up and stays
They're
in,
picking
but
up the trash. They're picking up all that trash,
they
that
can
fear
take
mongering.
it. And usually, if it's not the bin man, it'll be a siren.
Yeah.
So anyway, we'll just go with it. Um, And yeah, I mean, it would be so easy to just feel like we should give up or not bother. That, well, why is little old me important? Why is this thing that's like burning in my chest that may not save the planet? Why do it? But we should.
Yeah. And that's the question is why? Because
Mm,
I know I've had moments this year, especially where I'm like, why am I still having these dreams? And this is the funniest thing, right? For a
mm,
really long time, I wasn't allowing myself to dream about my future and about the big vision I have for my life because I was trying to rebuild a foundation, essentially.
mm,
I'd had my foundation ripped out from underneath me. I was trying to rebuild it. I was trying to get something steady happening because I really, yeah, like, I mean, we all need a foundation to feel secure and solid enough to then grow and flourish and thrive and bloom. And I know so many people who have been in similar boats to me this year as well. Is like, if it hasn't been like a redundancy like it was for me, and job loss, it has been a marriage or a significant relationship coming to an end, or it's been a health diagnosis or like a
mm,
complete shift in like their health and well-being or that of a loved one or a death or a loss or whatever. Um, yeah, when you feel like your foundation has either been ripped out from under you or completely demolished with a sledgehammer, and
mm,
you are in
mm,
rebuilding mode, like it's so easy to just feel completely stressed out by that and fearful and anxious. And I felt
mm.
all of those things throughout the course of this year. And yeah, there have been moments where I'm like, but why is my ability to dream coming back online? Why am I all of a sudden feeling this fire in my belly and my heart is activating and my mind won't stop ticking over with these ideas and all of a sudden my throat is itching to speak?
I literally need to cough
Yeah,
right now. It's
yeah,
like, I'll just wait for a pause.
yeah.
But I won't.
That's okay. You're
uh,
fine.
but
Yeah, it's
yeah.
just like, yeah, you're like, and the world is burning around us, but like not
Hmm.
literally, but kind of. Um,
Mm,
and you're like, why now? And what's the point? Like, why
hmm.
do I pursue this?
Mm.
What do you think?
Um, well, so much of my work is about bringing in a much higher perspective than what we mere humans alone can do. And so, if we are only considering ourselves as, flesh and bones with a brain, with some emotions, yeah, it can feel so limiting. But that's also by design because a human being is limited. Our spirit, our soul is not. And so I think there's a couple of things at play here. As a soul, each and every one of us have chosen as a soul to be here for this moment. Like we have forgotten it. The human part has gone, what? But the soul's chosen it and gone, yeah, I'm going to be there for the biggest shake-up in however many years, right? And so each soul is given, sometimes I see this picture as like a mothership and robots, or sometimes it's just us with like a little map and it's buried deep inside of us. So whatever you want to picture. But in any way, we come down here, the soul remembers, the human forgets, life rolls on, and there are these hints that soul is constantly giving to us, which come to us in terms of not just our nightly dreams, but our hopes and dreams for the future, the things that we're passionate about, because somewhere buried inside of us, we remember maybe what the human self thinks is just the small part we're here to play. If we look at what's happening in the collective, it's the equivalent of that, what you described before, that at an individual level, so many people are feeling the sledgehammer or the rug being pulled out from under them, or all of the things. But that's also happening at a collective level. There will be some of us who are ready to help those who may be experiencing this kind of shakeup for the first time. And Sonia, you and I are certainly not.
They're
We've been around this block a few
seasoned pros at
times,
this. Ah,
which means that our gifts are the very thing that we can help those around us with. I don't know about you, but when shivers, shit hits the
you can
fan.
say shit. Just say it.
Yeah, I don't know what
This is
your
my
your
podcast.
rating
You can
is.
say your heart out.
So, yeah, when it hits the fan, I want to find joy. I want to read a bloody marvelous book. I want to indulge in really yummy food. Not to mention hanging out with my family and my friends and just living. And so if someone hasn't made that food, or if someone hasn't built the house that we live in, or if someone hasn't done whatever little job they think is insignificant, there's no way. I mean, there is a way for me to feel joy, but not as richly and deeply and interwoven as it, right? And so I need those businesses to do their thing.
Mm. Yeah, like that's joy through connection, whether it's
Mm-hmm.
connection with family, loved ones, friends, connection through a really great movie, connection through a really good book, through a song, through a restaurant, a cafe, like whatever it is, that's joy through connection.
And also, just something like this, right? It's just two friends sitting down having a chat that maybe, hopefully whomever's listening might just have this little nugget come out of. It would have been just as easy for you and I today to say, oh, it doesn't matter. I want to do this, or whatever. But we did the thing that's been on our hearts. And hopefully it might just be one person. Who knows? Maybe you'll like break the algorithm and 10 million people are going to hear it. And that's great too. But some of that's also out of our hands. Spirit or soul source, that they're watching. And almost not orchestrating exactly, but it is kind of like puppeteering to make sure that the right people at the right time are finding the right human with the right gift or offer. Um, the world needs that thing that's on your heart because it's going to heal or help or serve someone else.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's,
absolutely. And so, like, what if though somebody's listening and they're like, well, I don't have a business and I don't have any desire to start a business and I don't want to be a TikTok superstar and I
me either.
me neither. And I don't want to go viral on Instagram. Like, I love my family or I love my friends and I love this little life that I've built for myself here. And, maybe what's on their heart is to take a pottery class finally, or to go to a sip and paint night, even though they were told they're not artistic, or
Oh my God, I just did that on the weekend and I am not.
neither am I, but it's so fun. I
So much fun.
did a pottery
So
one and
much
I
fun.
took my little bowl that I'd made home and Chris was like, "Oh, that's nice." And I was like, "Shut up. I had fun."
We actually did it. For better or for worse, was on the organizing committee for my daughter's school. So we had mums and all the year 8 girls at this, not paint and sip, just paint and chatter. And so we both came home. Isla's was fantastic, and mine was like, I think this can go in the dog tray because no other use for this. Let's just repurpose it. Anywho, that's not the point. And this may not have been your intention, but there's also just the joy in the creation itself, in sharing the moment. It doesn't matter if you want a business or to be that TikTok influencer or whatever. In fact, I would argue that showing up with love is actually the most important thing you can do. Even if you've got a business, even if you are, probably especially if you are an influencer, the intent behind that is so much more important. So, you know, I mean, having just my little family and just my little life, that is incredibly powerful on a micro scale with maybe no measurement of how impactful that will be at a macro scale.
Mm,
So you can't discount it just because you can't measure it.
so true.
Um, so if you just want to have a simple, happy, full life, and you've got, you live in a part of the world where that is available to you right now, go all in
Yeah.
because and I think there's something also that I'm seeing in this bigger conversation around fear is, but I feel so guilty. Like why do I get to have paint and sip when someone else does not? Um, and look, I think that's a much bigger conversation with a lot of theories and whatnot to it. But us punishing ourselves for someone else feeling bad means now there's two people feeling bad. That doesn't help anyone. So yeah, sharing whatever it is. Well, first and foremost, it's for us, right? That love is for us. And then it's shared with whomever's in that inner circle. So it could be your partner or roommate or kids or parents or whatever, depending on your circumstances. It might be your neighbors or your local community. It doesn't have to be monetized. And I would argue, even if you do want to monetize it, you've probably also got another job at the same time while you're getting that up and running or spending time. Like right now, I'm writing fiction very badly in circles, but I bloody love it. I don't know that it will ever see the light of day, but it brings me so much joy.
Yeah, exactly. I think that you made like a really important point there is it doesn't have to be monetized. It doesn't have to be shared on social media. If that's not what you want,
Mm,
that doesn't have to be your thing. That doesn't have to be the way that you find joy and beauty in life and share your gifts and have an impact. Is you like
mm.
I think people severely underestimate the power of the ripple effect just by being yourself. Just how you move through your day, like how you treat the person on the other side of the counter in your favorite cafe or
Mm,
coffee shop, how you treat the person on the other side of the counter in Woolies, how you engage with people as you're like walking down the street. Like, do you smile at people? Do you make eye contact? Do you say hello?
mm.
Do you carry an energy of love and like, it's going to sound so wanky, but love and light, basically. You
But
know,
I mean, it's the
but it's
truth.
true, right?
Hmm.
Exactly. And like, are you using your presence, which
Yeah.
I think is ultimately like, me, I've been having a really big year of untangling my identity and my sense of self-worth from my career,
Hmm.
and untangling career from purpose, you know,
Mm,
and finally recognizing that my presence is my purpose and my career
mm,
gets to be my calling, like that gets to be
mm.
my vocation in whatever shape and form it takes, that doesn't matter. I think we forget that our presence is our purpose because the way that we move through our days and we carry ourselves through the world impacts other people, whether we actually converse with them, whether we share a home with them or not.
I mean, you've also had that feeling, I'm sure, whether it's on public transport or maybe you pass someone in the street and they don't, reveal because of their appearance or their demeanor, but their energy, right? And it's like, oh, this person's really had a bad day. Um, just being in their field, if you're just one little frequency higher, is enough. Haven't said anything, maybe you haven't even smiled at them. Maybe they don't even want anyone in the world to see them and you just beam love to them. Awesome. Um, there was something else in what you said then too that I wanted to come back to. Maybe it'll come to me in a second as it usually does. Oh, about presence. If we come back to the say social media or the what we were calling the TikTok influencer, um, it's also about how our world is structured. And so the things that are making us fearful are also the things that are pulling us out of being present. So it could be social media, it could be reading the news or whatever. And of course, we've got to be informed, but our attention is currency and it's being manipulated and drained, um, which is leaving us feeling so depleted. And then we probably really should. And, we're painting this picture of, again, something that's been coming up over and over.
Your audio, sorry, I'm just going to.
But do you want me to? So let's also come back to what we were saying before. Well, I think there's two things. One, the very things that are making us fearful are also the things that are taking us out of being present, right? So our attention on these little devices in our hands, the like constant distraction, and yeah, listening to this podcast, marvelous. But if it's then going to be backed up for the next 6 hours with ridiculous other bits and pieces, then it's diversion, right? Um, so we do need to think about who is benefiting from essentially harvesting our awareness, the benefit they get from keeping us in fear, and what a like rebellious act it is to say no. If we also then come back to that example of it's just me in a simple life at home with my kids or partner or whatever. Um, there is this energetically, there is this case for post pandemic where what we didn't learn it has to be learned again. And not to scare anyone, we're not again, but there is a sense of local, simple, I don't know if it's that sort of bartering system, but it's just taking care of your neighbor. And if everyone actually did that, then everyone's taken care of.
Oh my gosh, it's so true. And it's just so funny though how it's just it used to be such a thing, like especially in my grandparents' generation, like you all looked out for one another. Everybody's kids played together in the street. Like if you needed to borrow something, you popped over to your neighbors. And like where we live now, we moved here not knowing anybody. And I just find it really interesting because oh my God, we got so lucky. We are so blessed in the little cul-de-sac that we live in with the neighbors that
Mm,
we have. And you know that Chris travels frequently for work. So
mm,
a lot of the time I'm on my own with the pets. We are a one-car family. And where I live, if I want to go to the shops or if I want to go anywhere, I have to get in the car
mm.
and drive. And it's so funny because I have no qualms asking for help. And Chris is mortified. It is like so embarrassing for him that I like ask for help from our neighbors all the time because he's like, I don't know if it's like a proud man syndrome or
Could be.
the way that he was raised in his family. I think it's a little bit of both, to be honest.
Yeah.
But like our neighbors are so beautiful. Chris is away at the moment. He's at a work conference on the Gold Coast. He took our car. One of our neighbors has given me one of their cars to drive the whole time he's away.
Oh, amazing.
Like they check in on me. They're like, "Do you want us to cook you dinner? Do you want to come over for dinner? Do
Yes,
you need us to
please.
take a Malfi?" I'm like, "Yes to all of the above." Like I have
Mm,
it's so interesting that, I think there's something really to be said in looking out for each other and helping one another out. And there's a huge piece here we could dive into about receiving as well, because
yeah.
as women especially, it's really hard for us to receive. And I know for me
Mm.
personally, it's been a lifelong lesson in asking and receiving.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
but I think there's something to be said for like no longer underestimating the power of local, the power of connection, the power of like looking out and looking after one another. And also just really acknowledging that not all of us are destined to start a business. Not all of us
Mm.
are meant to be on a world stage talking at TEDx or filling up stadiums and talking like that, or having a multi-million dollar business, or a multi-million person social media audience or whatever. Like some of us are meant to have an impact in our own street.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing about measurement, right? If you're present, whether it's one person or 100 million people, the presence you bring, and to your point, you also know that feeling when someone's willing to receive it, right? Like, I don't know if you've ever offered a gift to someone and maybe they haven't liked it, or they're like, oh, or, that there can be so much pressure on um, both the giver and the receiver. But imagine someone offering everything of themselves and someone just gets up and walks out of the room. It doesn't make the person who's giving, even if it's a smile, even if it's, oh, I've baked you fresh goods, right? Let alone, oh, I have an important message to this stadium, but you offer it. We can't control if someone will receive it or not, but it also can't be the reason why we're doing it. Yeah. But the flip side is, when you were describing the cul-de-sac, I was like, oh, that just sounds incredible. And that's not available to me where I am, although one of my very dear friends lives on the same street. But for me, it's more like in the schoolyard. It's like, it's changing now. My kids are getting older, but finding just those couple of people, mums or dads, they get it and are like, yeah, I'll just take them home. And then, it's like very, very simple things that actually could make the world of difference. And who knows, maybe one of those people that, like, that your neighbor does not know that they've just had a shout out on this podcast to however many people because they volunteered their car or invited you for a meal. So the ripple effect for them, they've got no idea.
But they've doubled their impact because they've helped me.
and me
Yeah.
and all of the things.
And like, God bless them, they're in their 70s. They are the coolest people ever. And
Oh, I
it's
want
his
them to
birthday
know
this
this.
Friday, and we're taking them out for drinks because they love they love a wine. So, and they
Oh,
love going out with us. They love hanging out. And so, like, they are the coolest people ever, but they're not on social media. They don't give a shit about any of this. They're just
mm,
helping me out because we're neighbors and we're friends, and
mhm.
they have the means and the ability to do so.
Well, I think those two words are really important, the means and the ability, right? If you don't have, whether it's the financial means, the time, or whatever, again, that kind of programming as women that, oh, well, now I've got this added pressure to not only save the world, but all of my street as well. And I've got to do all of the things. Um, that's not it either. If we come back to that idea of us as a soul, that my belief is there is something much bigger than us that has sent us forth with a lot of gifts to offer in whatever moment. It is literally an extension of something bigger than us that we're offering. If we're in that true state of presence, it might, like you said before, it might only be a smile. Or maybe if you are the person with 100 million people and filling up a stadium and you've got a gazillion dollars, you might have the financial resources. Look, I don't want to get on my high horse, but I think it also matters why you would even want that amount of money to begin with. And what are you going to do with it? I don't think we are under any obligation to do anything. It's that person's, but it's the bigger context of to what ends? What, like, does that, why?
Yeah. For what purpose?
Yeah.
Yeah. For
And
what?
I'm not against it by all
I
means.
wouldn't say no to the money. Hell.
I would happily have that money. However, I've also worked with incredibly high net worth individuals who fall in that bracket. They're having the same conversations as us, it just has a different number of zeros on the end, right? And they're not necessarily any happier. In fact, what they often are asking about is how do I make the impact in my home or with, my family, with my friends? Maybe they have a ginormous property and their neighbors are too far away, but maybe it's a different, same, but different. So, what do you want to do with it? If
Yeah.
you want to start a business, cool. Is it purely financial or is it to serve in some way? Or do you want to serve and trust that financially you're going to be taken care of in other ways,
Yeah.
maybe in a full-time job? And there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. I think maybe the
Mm.
world's moved on a little, but like I left like working full-time 17 years ago to start my own business. It was unheard of. Now, of course, there's a whole different, reality, but I didn't do it because I wanted to become a millionaire. I did it because I could see that I had something to give that may be helpful. I literally to one person was my aim.
Yeah. Yeah. And that
Sometimes I still do it for free.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Sometimes I don't.
yes. I mean, we all do to some degree, whatever our gifts and talents are.
Yeah.
We give them away freely and generously where we can, when we can. And, for some of us, that is part of our job or our vocation
Mm-hmm.
or our business. And, I always say, I constantly remind myself, especially when I look at numbers, like, oh my God,
Mm.
I'm so not a numbers girl. And so whenever I look at numbers, they do nothing for me. Like they do absolutely nothing for me. I'm like, pish posh, so what? Okay, big whoop.
Mm-hmm.
That many people read my latest Substack post. And then I remind myself, I'm like, Sonia, what do you tell your bloody clients all the time? If you have impacted somebody else, you have doubled your impact in this world. Okay, good
Mm.
reminder. Okay. Also, second fucking fact check is
We're
imagine
worried about shit.
yeah. Imagine, imagine like let me pull a number out of my ass right now. 134 people have read my latest Substack post. If
Marvelous.
you were to talk about that number in the context of online bullshit, that would be a low number. If
Mm.
I put 134 people in my house right now and
Let's party.
they all said something nice about my piece, I would like my face would be so sore from smiling so much. Like I like you
hmm
can't even fathom that. Like you would be like, fucking hell, 134 people in my house. First of all, crazy. Chris would be shitting bricks because he would have been mowing the lawns and cleaning the house for days in
Yes,
advance
yes.
in what I like to call his pre-visitor psycho mode. And
Oh, I actually have one of those. I've learned to give up on it now. It's like
I've given up
if
too.
if you're allowed to come in my house, you know who I am.
Yeah.
This is how I live.
Yeah, well, I've just given up my will to live in the week before anyone comes to visit because I just have to surrender. Like that's the ultimate test of the universe for me with surrender is just going with Chris's plan of whatever jobs we're supposed to be doing before anyone comes to visit. But I digress. But like imagine that. Like 134 people in my house telling me, "Oh my God, that piece you wrote, I loved it. That line just spoke to my heart. What you said is just like exactly what I'm going through right now." It's like, holy shit. Like, what a way to put things back into perspective again. And like one of my favorite sayings, which I don't know if I, again, I still need to do my research on this. I can't remember if it was Gabby Bernstein or someone
Mm.
said a miracle is a shift in perspective.
It probably was. That
Yeah.
sounds like something
So
she
it
would
sounds
say.
like something she'd say.
Whoever said it, it's marvelous. And
Yes.
it's true. Um, Look, I think that there's something also in what you're describing with the numbers game. Because even in your example, okay, X number of people read my latest email. That email has had to be sent on someone else's platform who has, whether it is actually email or it's social media or whatever. Um, I was probably a couple of months ago, I had a conversation with my spirit guides. I have been off Instagram for a bit because for many reasons.
It sucks.
And they,
It sucks.
but I do miss the real connection that you
Yeah.
can have. But anyway, so I was asking spirit about it, and they said to me, and I actually wrote it down, I should pull it up, but something to the effect of, why are you worried about pushing against something that is already stacked against you?
It's like the casino, the house always wins.
So, whether it's an email provider, probably more so social media, um, the very construct of business itself is to make money, right? So, that's fine, no worries. we also need that. But if we are getting more and more reliant on a system that is stacked against us and ignoring, like I remember when I was working in PR and my boss, like when I quit and I didn't tell her what I was doing, in my head, I was like, oh, I don't know, I'll just sit in a local park and turn cards. I was like, I don't need anything. She's like, I think she thought I was going to go and start a PR agency. And she was like, but you're going to need overheads and you're going to need this. And I said, I don't need anything. I literally could sit in a park. And she said, but you'll need a computer. And I was like, oh, no, I really don't. I could just turn up, right? We have forgotten. So part of that fear piece is that we've forgotten how powerful we are. So, yes, in our local community or in our home, 134 people, like that's a lot of people, um, to a massive conglomerate of, you know, big multinational corporations. They're like, 134 people, we don't need you. We want the ones that have got 1 million people because they're more profitable for us. And so they either have to turn everyone into desiring that so they continue to profit, or those of us who choose to focus on the presence and the intention and that something bigger is more powerful than their stupid algorithm, we're going to make the impact that we need to make. Anyway, I feel like I just went off on a total
No,
rant.
I love it. I love it
Mm,
because I look, I have loved Instagram from the very beginning. That has always,
mm,
I've never made a secret of the fact that it's always been my favorite social media app, mostly because when it was like at its best, it was all about community. It was all about like authentic
mm,
sharing and people finding one another and supporting one another and like, following each other's stories and journeys and whatnot. And I really feel like it has become, Facebook's skanky cousin. And
I also remember when Facebook had that life
yeah,
change,
like
right? And it was like, ugh.
yeah, exactly. They all start
Mm,
shiny and wonderful and lovely, and then they all become a cesspit eventually.
mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm,
so I'm not having the time of my life on there. But
mm,
the way that I have reframed this, because I don't, and like, I have seen so many
mm-hmm,
mind-blowing statistics about how much reach is down on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, how everything is tanked on there that we would be looking
mm,
for, especially as business owners or people trying to have impact and be of service. But the way that I have managed to reframe it, and it has always been the one that I've always carried with me, is I am more powerful than any algorithm.
mm.
It's like the universe is on my side and I'm a soul,
Yeah.
here on a mission. And also every now and then I just kind of come around to like I'm only human. Sometimes I fall prey to, oh, maybe I should do that trend because that looks good and people are paying attention to that. And then I go, are you doing, Sonia? Because that is not how you want to use it. So, how do you want to fucking use this platform? Because at the end of the day, I just see Instagram, I see Substack, I see whatever platform you choose to be on as a pathway of discoverability. It's a way for people to find you,
Mm,
it's a way for people to discover you, to connect with you. And then I trust in a higher power that
mm-hmm,
whatever they are meant to see, they'll see it when they're meant to see it. Whenever they feel the pull or the urge to work with me or to reach out to me, they will do that and it will happen. And
mm-hmm,
my only job is to just show up and be me. And so,
mm,
I obviously I've been in a bit of a pattern of survival this year because I've had to be and I've just had to be rebuilding and whatnot. But I can feel the fire is rebuilding again within me. I can feel it being
yay.
stoked and the fans being flamed and I can feel bandwidth coming back where I do want to get back on socials. I do want to get back out
Mm,
there. And like, and this is one of my favorite questions to ask myself is like, okay, what's alive and true in me right now that I want to share that's on my
mm,
heart? And what's the easiest way for me to just get this out there? And sometimes it's just an Instagram story of me talking to camera or me taking a photo and just putting a whole heap of text over the top of it. And then I might repurpose that into a reel and chuck it on my grid so that it's got a more
mm,
permanent home. But like ultimately, I feel more called to just do really simple talking to video. None of this fancy fandangled editing with things
mm.
popping up on the screen and sound effects and cuts and this and
Just can't
flags and
work it out.
I'm
And
like,
you know,
that's
when
too
I've
hard.
done
I
it,
don't have time for that. I don't care. And
it's
I
just,
don't
it's
also,
embarrassing.
yeah, and I'm not going to pay someone to do it for me because I'm not in that position to do so. And
Well,
I
because
just
we're
don't
not filling a stadium with a
know.
gazillion
No,
people.
and I can't like, and I just, ugh, yuck, I can't do it. And and that's why I've started this podcast series, and that's why I write on Substack and I record the occasional audio as well. Is like I'm just going to use these platforms because they're available. And to hell with the
Yeah.
algorithm and to hell with the trends. And I'm just going to trust that because I'm connected to a higher power and
Mm-hmm.
I believe in what I'm here to do and like who I'm here to be. And then I'm just going to like hand it all over. Like my job is to just like channel the message, be the messenger, and then hand it over and trust that it's going to reach who it's going to reach when it's meant to reach them. And like that's just my that's my new social media strategy. You're welcome.
I actually really love it and will be adopting it
Yeah.
pronto.
Yeah.
I think there's like in listening to what you're saying, like I mentioned this before, my background was in PR and marketing. That same boss, by the way, they had sent me over to the States to attend a conference where like brands like Disney and stuff were talking about this new thing called Facebook and how businesses could use it. And I came home and went, like, we had some pretty impressive brand name clients. And I said, you guys, this is what we've got to do. She was like, what the hell are you on? That's never going to work. And I went, see ya! And went on Instagram myself. And I timed it, not because, I mean, really, I think spirit timed it, and got to ride a certain wave. But where I'm going with this is I went through journalism school when there was only print, radio, TV, right? We weren't learning about the internet in the olden days, as my kids say. Um, the best thing that businesses could have was trust and word of mouth. Now, if you're in business and your goal is to scale to the size of a multinational corporation, having an understanding of that online world and advertising in that space probably important, because you literally need at that scale X number of people to make Y number of dollars, right? At the other end of that scale, let's imagine that you did go viral. And rather than 134 people opening that email, something happened and 10,000 people turned up, right? But now they've turned up at your house and you have to feed all of them and, you know, make them feel welcome and have the true Sonia experience, because I know that, you know, you're going to love on every single person that's come into your home. You can't do it, can you? We've got to be really careful about what we're even trying to manifest. I can't handle, I can't handle literally serving 10,000 people in that way. Love it in my membership. There's not 10,000 people in there, but whatever number's in there today might be different to tomorrow. My business has always survived because of word of mouth. Yeah. So if you write something amazing and share it with one person and they love it, they're going to pass that on to the next person. Oh, I'll send you the link. Yeah. That idea of connection. So let's bring it back to where we were talking before about, you know, the individual is like, I don't want a business. I don't want to be an influencer. I just want this, you know, happy life. Guaranteed they're having a conversation around the table and sharing their ideas. And, oh, I had this service or I went to this place. They're still having a ripple effect, let's say, in one of our lives without even having got on social media themselves. Like the whole world used to do business that way.
Yeah, that's the wildest thing, right? And it's so
Mm-hmm.
interesting because when I think about my career, I can
Mm-hmm.
pretty much pinpoint every single opportunity that I've ever had has been through my network. It's either through someone I'm connected to directly or somebody who's connected to someone that I'm connected to. And
Mm-hmm.
you have to trust that invisible ripple effect, no matter what it is, whether you're in business or you're just trying to be a good person and be the light in your life and the light of other people's lives. Like, you just never know what impact you are having on somebody and then what they're doing with that impact that you've had on them. You know what I mean? Like, that ripple
Mm-hmm.
effect is so magic, and I believe in the power of it so strongly. And this is like the evidence we need to know that we are more powerful than algorithm. And like, if we're not plugging into the energy of fear, what are we plugging into? We're plugging into the energy of love.
And in and amongst that is possibility
Totally.
and expansion and like curiosity and play and wonder and all of these things that I certainly don't find when I am necessarily online. I know where to look
Yeah.
if I'm looking for that.
Mm.
It's usually because, like right now, I can look out my window. There's a beautiful blue sky. There are gorgeous clouds. The green up against it. It's like, geez, that's really beautiful.
Yeah, definitely. Or it's like a cup of tea date with a friend, like with a
Oh,
girlfriend,
yes, please.
a good chat. Yeah, exactly. Or like a
Don't
great.
give me 134 people at a party.
No,
I just
no,
want the cup
please
of
don't.
tea.
No, please don't, because like even like my Tuesday afternoon when I'd had a really hard morning, like personally, and I had cried so hard I gave myself a headache. And thankfully,
Oh,
I had nothing on my calendar that afternoon. So I laid on the couch in my pajamas and I watched The First Wives Club, RIP Diane Keaton.
oh,
And
oh, I know.
oh my God, don't get me started. And then I watched Eat, Pray, Love. And I was like,
Oh, the best.
yeah, I was like double banger right there. Like if anyone needs a couple of movie recommendations for your weekend or for any night of the week. And do you know what? I was like, those little moments were like, oh, like the power of a good movie. And there were
Mm.
like quotes in those movies that I had never registered before that was
Oh, yeah.
speaking directly to how I was feeling in that moment. And it was like literal medicine as I was watching those movies in my
Mm.
pajamas, being a total potato on the couch.
You make me think of two things. One, that ripple effect is also not to underestimate. Like, I haven't been on Instagram for a while, haven't been on my own podcast for a while. In fact, I was mapping it out earlier. But I, there's, say for the podcast, there's 300 episodes there. Like, just because I am not giving doesn't mean that there's nothing there for people to receive. Just like going back to your old favorite movie, it will just continue to give to you, whenever you need it. But oh, hello there. The
The
second
cat has
thing,
just jumped up on my desk, everybody.
yeah,
Say hi to Helen.
they often turn up when I'm on Zoom
Yeah.
calls. The other thing that you made me think of is this week I've been. Where have you gone, my friend? There you are. I've been going to
I was just letting the cat
YouTube.
out, everyone, because he was
But
scratching.
do you know what? My dog has just, you won't be able to hear her. She's just walked past the door. She must have known.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Anyway, yeah, this week I've been going into YouTube and searching for bloopers and just having them in like a minimized, like if I'm doing, I don't know, admin or bookkeeping or something really someone else should be doing.
Boring.
I'll just have it in the corner,
Yeah.
killing myself laughing. And it's so silly. It's so simple. Um, and so I guess, there's a few things in it that, yes, someone's silliest thing is actually bringing me the most joy. But also, like, I knew that I could search for the thing that I wanted. And so I know it's not exactly, mirroring up what we were saying before, but I think we can't underestimate that people know what they want and how to find it. Like, we all can use Google. And so, that pressure to beat the algorithm or to be on trend, yeah, it can help. But like, let's also give the individual some power and um, autonomy in, do you know what I need right now? I need a good laugh. I'll find that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, look, I don't know that we're going to solve it all today and fix it all, but I think that there is something to be said for that thing that is on your heart is there because someone else is looking for it. So if we come back to what I said before about, okay, so let's say I've come here, my soul, for whatever reason, can communicate with things that no one can really see, and I just can feel things and hear things and know things. And I've been given that. Sometimes in the past, I've thought to drive me crazy and to upset me and scare me. However, when I meet the person who could be in the worst moment of their life, who's had a very, very hard day, week, month, year, life, and on their heart is, I just need someone to show me what I can't see. The reason we have the gifts or the dream is because that little switch, do you know what I just saw clairvoyantly is in Downton Abbey, where like they'd ring the bell and they'd look and go, oh, I've got to go up to the, I don't know, to the dining room. that little bell that's ringing inside of us is because someone out there somewhere has said, please come and find me. I'm in the dining room. It's not by chance. And so what that actually means is that what you're dreaming of for yourself is trying to find you as much as you want to share it. I don't think their algorithms have figured that out yet. But whatever this bigger power is that's created 8 billion of us, plus every single leaf and flower and animal and insect and things we have not even discovered yet, that can figure it out. All
Amen.
I have to do is go and answer that bell.
Yes. Yes. I love that.
Mm,
So,
mm,
side note, I've always wanted
mm.
one of those gold bells that says press for champagne. Like that would be so good.
They are a thing.
Yeah, I've only ever seen it on Pinterest. I've never seen it in real life, but I know there are some hotels around the world that have them and whatnot. But like, yeah, I love that analogy because it's so true. It's like, and it doesn't have to be on a podcast like this conversation we're having right now. It doesn't have to be in a coaching session. It doesn't have to be on Instagram or TikTok. It could literally be that cup of tea date with your girlfriend who you just had on your heart to send her a text and be like, hey, let's catch up. And you sit down and you order and you pour your heart out to each other. And she turns to you at the end of that catch up and she goes, that was exactly what I needed.
Mm.
Like that's the feeling.
Do you know what's even better is when you haven't even messaged them for that coffee date or tea date, where if you are just present in
Mm.
each and every moment, okay, what do I need to do right this second? I need to walk down the street. I want to stop and look at the beautiful homewares in this store. I want to do XYZ. If you are in that moment, then Source is going to put you to work. All you're doing is going and having a look at nice homewares or something. I I know that this has happened to you before, that synchronicity
Yeah, I was
of,
gonna say,
you
like,
know,
why do I get my best ideas when I'm unstacking the fucking dishwasher or hanging up the washing, like doing shit I hate? It's because
well, I mean, frankly, I
present.
need the incentive.
Yeah, like I know I need to do it, but it's like it's because I'm present and I know the job needs to
Mm-hmm.
be done and it doesn't require any. It is there are no distractions. I'm literally just focused on that task and I don't need to think about it either. So it's not really
Mm-hmm.
using up any brain power or bandwidth.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, like the universe comes flooding in. It's like, whoa, okay, I'm going to do
Yeah.
a podcast series and I'm going to call it the Creatress tapes. Copy that, universe.
And it can be whether it's a product idea, a podcast idea, a message, a post, or I don't know why. I just want to walk into that shop today. Something inside me says, I've just got to get down there. And every time I've followed that, it's been because the person in the shop has shared something, or I've ended up sharing something, or the friend I've been thinking about getting that cup of tea with actually turns up and it's like, great, let's go now. You know, it's that there is something magical that happens when we get out of our heads, when we are forgetting the formulas and the numbers, and instead we are present, we allow whatever it is to be present in us. You know, we've spoken about giving, but there's also like some days I don't have much to give. Some days, like I'm spent and I am the one that needs to receive. Um, and so you just turn up in the moment with what you've got and trust that the universe will provide you with what you need.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so true. It's so, so true.
It takes practice though, right?
It's
Like,
a daily
because when
practice.
you're when you're in the throes of a redundancy or a death or a horrendous breakup or whatever challenge is coming, the last thing in that moment you want to do is, well, I'll just walk down the street and go and look at homewares. Yeah, maybe not in that moment, but if you practice it, right? And this is the other challenge I think we have, that fear can be so debilitating. But when things are good, if we are too comfortable, we don't maybe benefit truly from the opposite of that fear. That I don't know, I feel like as a collective, there is so much fear that that is now the new normal. And it takes a lot more of the positive or the light, the love, the kind of, yes, cliched things to pull it back up. Um, anyway, I've got my train of thought there. That's it. Full stop.
Yeah,
That
but
was the message.
I don't think that's the reason. Like you said, like
Mm,
where I was following you is
mm.
is like
Yeah, you take it, run.
yeah, I don't think that's a reason to stop or to give up or to think that this isn't worth it. This tiny little thing that
Mm,
I can do or I want to do isn't worth it. What's the point? Like, no, 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 then fear wins, right?
right. Yes.
And if it is like, okay, well, today maybe I only have 20% of my full capacity, my full
Mm,
Sonianess to give the world, but I'm still going to get up. I'm still going to have a shower. I'm going to get dressed. Yep, I'm going to go down into town. I'm going to go to one of my favorite cafes. I'm going to order my tea and I'm still going to smile at them. I'm still going to say, hey guys, and I may not be my full volume, full brightness self, but I'm still going to like show up with love. Then I'm going to go sit in my favorite spot and I'm going to, pull out my laptop and do my thing. And on the days where I've been like that, do you know what's happened? Is like they have then taken my teapot when it's empty and they've refilled it and have not charged me.
yeah.
Or I've gotten a hug or I've gotten
Hmm.
a compliment. And I'm just like, I didn't ask for any of those things, but
Hmm.
I gave what I have. And I gave what I have in that moment or on that day.
Hmm.
And then the universe has met me where I'm at and then has like
Hmm.
delivered the rest of the way.
Mm. And it does happen. Something in what you were sharing there is, even if you are only at 20% Sonia-ness, um, I just wanted to make the point, not so much for you or I just feel like maybe someone listening needs it. You might have 0%, right? You might leave the house and burst out crying in the middle of Coles or have a panic attack, right? Like that's
Done both of those things. Yep.
same, literally same. And there could be the fear that, oh my gosh, I don't know, whatever the thought is, I'm vulnerable. What a burden for someone else. I'm so embarrassed, XYZ. To come back to that giving and receiving piece, whomever's there may have something to offer you in that moment. And hopefully they do. And hopefully someone's, there. But don't underestimate what, for example, your crying or your panic attack or your rawness is offering them. Because every lesson I've learned hasn't come, and I think this is more where I was going to go before with that, like fear or love. And, if everything is good, sometimes it's just comfortable and it's like, I don't need to learn or do more or push more because, oh, this is pretty good. Oh, why rock the boat? And so fear, if we come back to where we started, it feels awful and we want to run away from it. But that discomfort could actually be the thing that teaches us the most, right? Like, why am I fearful? What does this fear want me to know? The fear might be telling you to stay at home, or that actually you might need to see a doctor, or you might need to see a therapist, or it might be saying something else entirely about you nincompoop, get out of your own head, stop worrying. You live in one of the most safe, prosperous countries in the world. Relatively, I'm not dismissing when there's like real fear and panic attack, right? Like I'm just kind of painting a picture. that if we can put into perspective that the fear is real and it will pass, and it is showing us how to move through it. So if I address that thing, whether it's therapy or mindset or whatever, then the fear will go away, as opposed to that fear will never leave, so I'm going to run. It'll just find you wherever you run to.
Yeah, or hide. Yeah.
Yeah. And I do just want to be, I'm not underestimating, that idea of like, I have been the person having a panic attack in the middle of a festival street in Melbourne. The most terrifying, well, second most terrifying thing probably that I've experienced. I wasn't just going to meditate my way out of it in that moment, right? Like spirit wasn't going to just suddenly lift that off my chest because I asked them to, but I had the right people, and I had this beautiful woman just materialize, and then she disappeared again because I'd done the work before it. Yeah. So when things are good, you keep practicing.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't really accrue it, but you kind of do.
Yeah, you get the
It's
absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. And I think as well, like just knowing everything is temporary, like even like the hard times, the good
Mhm,
times, the mediocre
mhm,
times, the boring times,
mhm.
like it's all temporary. We will move into another season, another chapter, another moment. Um,
Another social media platform.
exactly. Another trend,
Mhm.
another bloody whatever. Um, and that's okay. Like that's okay. You know,
Yeah.
I even said like, you know, I'm just for a lot of this year I was in my sad girl feels. I was in
Yeah.
my sad girl feels, and that's okay because things were shit, and I was allowed to call it. Like I was like, do you know what?
Yes, you are.
Permission to say things are a bit shit right now. And if I was writing the chapter of my life story, my memoir right now, I would call this chapter the shit bit. And like, you know, it was my way of like coping, you know, to like
Yeah.
in amongst all the darkness and the hardness and the toughness was like, all right, I'll make light of it, I'll make a joke of it. And also, I acknowledge that I know that I have had to go through the absolute ringer and the shit and the destabilization and the confrontation and the rejection and everything I've gone through this year because there's going to come a time where this is all going to be part of my toolkit to be able to
And what
help
a toolkit.
somebody else, you know,
Yeah.
to really bring it all back full circle is like whether that is a conversation with a girlfriend, whether that is on a podcast episode, whether that is in a coaching session, or whether that is standing on a stage and speaking to a group of people. Like it's all for a reason. It's all on purpose.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
There's this image that I've used before in books and podcasts and things, but I was writing about it again this morning. We sometimes forget that to get from where we are to where we want to be is a process. Until we can teleport from this minute to the next, there is a very physical process of change that needs to happen. Now, energetically, we can change in an instant. Our physical body cannot, right? So I want you to imagine for a moment that you are a caterpillar just hanging out on a branch, and all you know is that branch. Like you're a teeny tiny caterpillar, and your entire world view is probably just that branch. And life is lifing, and the seasons change, and that caterpillar finds itself inside of a chrysalis or a cocoon or whatever. One of them is correct. I'm pretty sure that if I got kind of locked up inside of some sort of cocoon where it was dark and my whole world has disappeared, I would be freaking out,
Yeah.
right?
You're turning to soup.
That, yeah, that caterpillar is like, oh my God, I'm not a caterpillar anymore. Oh my God, I've got a wing and I don't know what the hell is this? It's bright and it's colorful. At least I think it is because it's pretty dark in here. And then the butterflies, more formed, right? So you've gone from 20% Sonia to maybe 80, 90% Sonia in this uncomfortable cocoon. And now we've got a pretty well formed butterfly who's like, okay, I look really different. I don't know what's outside of this cocoon. I'm terrified of being out there. Is my branch still there? Am I going to like my branch? And then, of course, the butterfly comes out, and everyone is like waiting for this butterfly to come out because we know how bloody beautiful and miraculous it is. The butterfly's terrified. Butterfly comes out of the cocoon and goes, oh my God, I can fly. Oh my God, there are all these other trees. There are all these other branches. I've got this completely different perspective because I'm flying up here. I'm not bound by this. The actual sensation of fear, like we were just saying, like it does pass because if we allow it, it's just one part of that transformation process. But of course, the minute we hit it, we freak out and think, I don't know if I'm a caterpillar or a butterfly or what I'm doing.
Yeah, we think it's going to last forever.
Right. And so if we run, we stay a caterpillar, or we might be half in, half out. If we see it through, most likely we'll become a butterfly, but then it's got a whole other set of problems because I don't know what the world is like as a butterfly. But it's going to happen anyway. And I think this is the other part, that same bigger power that's like bigger than the algorithm. It's also bigger than us. And change is going to happen whether we want it to or not. So the better we are at trusting whatever that power is, whatever's managing the seasons and even what's behind the science of it, and but also trusting that that bigger power knew that I would be a great caterpillar, but also a really great butterfly, and that it knows what it's doing. Like a mother, I remember being pregnant. I'm not sitting there going, I'm going to grow a liver today, and then I'm going to grow a hair follicle and, blue eyes. No, I tried to take care of myself. I went to my appointments. I tried to, well, let's be honest, I got my husband to put a crib together. There's something bigger than me knows how to make this baby. My job is to take care of me in the process and prepare myself for this thing that's coming, right? So whether it's a baby or a butterfly or a mixed analogy, whatever, you get the idea. That fear is just one step. And there is something really exciting on the other end. And we won't know until we come out of the uncomfortable dark cocoon and figure it out. Can I fly? What color am I? What do I want to do with this perspective? Oh my God, there's these really cool butterflies down the way. Maybe I'll go and visit the caterpillars too. Like, who knows what you're going to do with it? But if you stay stuck in the fear, well, everyone loses.
Yeah. Yeah. I love
I
that.
just need to remember that myself.
Yeah, I know.
When you're in
Great
the
reminder.
cocoon.
Thanks for that reminder. Thank God we've recorded this. We can both go back and listen to it when we're like, now what were we talking about when we were talking about the butterfly and the caterpillar?
Wisdom.
Exactly, exactly. It is. And it's all about that trust. It's all about just trusting that the fear is here for a reason. It's here for a moment. We trust
Mhm.
the process, we trust the timing of it, and we trust that we're going to be okay in it, through it, and on the other side of it. And I think that is just such a beautiful way to almost end this conversation because I've got one last.
Okay. Hit
So,
me.
as you know, the name of this series is the Creatress Tapes, and I believe that within every single woman there is a creatress. And as women, we are all here to inherently create something, whether that is a child, another life, a family, a partnership, a business, or whatever. What would you want to say to the women listening to this who are yet to tap into their inner creatress or want to really tap into her and let her come to the forefront? What would you most want them to know?
It's like just one.
Say as many as you want, I don't mind.
Um, Only because I've got two sort of competing thoughts here.
Okay, say them both.
Technically three. So the word that I'm hearing is play. The image I have is yourself as a young child when hopefully before the world has told you all the reasons why you shouldn't be expressing in the way that comes naturally to you. And then that word express, because my throat tickling and coughing. There is no way that we can expect anyone to receive what we have to offer if we haven't acknowledged it first. And in order to acknowledge what is on our hearts, we have to sit with it and play with it and get to know it as if it was this creation, a baby, a book, whatever, being handed to us. It's like, hello, little one, who are you? What do you have to say? Who are you going to be? And then protect them fiercely as they're being heard. Mm.
Oof, yes. Love
Mm.
that to bits. Love you to bits as well. That was
You
awesome.
too, my love. Let's have that cup of tea soon.
Oh my gosh, yes, please. That was awesome. Thank you so much, my darling.
My pleasure. Thank you for inviting me to chat. So